Hi guys, welcome to Simply Scuba. So in today's video, we're going to be comparing these two masks. So right now, I've got the brand new XDeep Frameless mask, which is very sort of shiny new. This only came out a few weeks ago, and I'm basically going to pit it against one of the kind of the fanciest of frameless masks, one of our best sellers, the Atomic Frameless 2 mask, and I'm basically going to look at two a little bit closer and from a little bit further away, and yeah, going to see which one I prefer. So first of all, let's take a closer look at kind of the overview of both masks. Okay, so we've got both masks here in front of me, but first of all, we're going to look at the boxes. So the XDeep comes in a very traditional sort of plastic box. I'm sure everyone who's watching this has seen one of these. It's a pretty standard sort of plastic box. I tend to reuse these for all sorts of things at home. I don't tend to sort of keep my mask in it. They're very good for kind of stacking them on shelves and in sort of warehouses, but they do take up a fair amount of space. They do sort of break over time if you're sort of chucking it in your dive bag, but it does the job, but it's not the fanciest. And that's kind of why I brought the mask boxes onto the table for you guys, so you can see the Atomic version of a mask case. So this, as you can see, is pretty much sculpted to your mask. Again, they do kind of stack up themselves. It's all very clever, but it's much neater. It's much smaller compared to the generic kind of plastic box that you get from XDeep. You've got three little clips, and then that kind of clamshell opens up and you kind of stow your mask away. Sometimes you do have to kind of fold the mask, a kind of clever way to get it in, but yeah, necessary evils. So yeah, as far as the sort of boxes that it comes from, sure, the Atomic is a bit fancier, but arguably, is this one a bit more practical? Because I use this for all sorts of odds and sods that I sort of leave sort of in my garage. I'll kind of leave that decision up to you, which one is better. One's kind of better for preparing your mask in a neat way, and the other one's just a bit more multifunctional. I'll leave that up to you. And then looking at the masks themselves, so they're both frameless masks, which basically means that the silicone is molded directly onto the glass. That makes them much more low profile. It brings the lens a lot closer to your face. It also means that they're a kind of a single sort of window, so you don't get anything sort of over the bridge of your nose. The buckles themselves attach directly onto the skirts. They're both made with sort of optical grade glass. They both come in blacks and clears or transparents. So as a general overview, they're pretty much the same thing, just made by different brands. The only real difference is that the Atomic, you can get these in smaller sizes. That might be on the cards sort of later on. But yeah, for now, the Atomic, if you do have a kind of smaller face shape, they do offer just a range of kind of skirt sizes. So all in all, at the moment, they're kind of level pegging. They're doing the same thing, just in an ever so slightly different way, but I think there are going to be some big differences once we look a little bit closer. Okay, so taking a closer look at the two, first of all, I'm going to take a look at the XDeep because it's the new one, the new kid on the block. So yeah, so it's a frameless design, and what that basically means is that the lens itself is molded directly into the silicone, so it doesn't have a big kind of framed around it, which makes it a bit clunkier. But what makes this different about a lot of other, the cheaper frameless, is that this has optical grade glass inside of it. The reason I know that it's optical grade is that on the clear version, the transparent one, you can see the edge of the glass, and if you look at that, it's colorless. So on a lot of cheaper glasses, kind of standard tempered glass, you get that kind of green tint around when you look at the edge, like a glass table. You see it's got that kind of greenish blue coloration to it, whereas on this it's colorless, so it doesn't have those impurities, and that just allows for better light transmission through the glass lens. The silicone itself is yeah, it's got a decent finish to it. You can still see some of the molding edges, but nothing sort of drastically bad about that. It's got quite a nice finish to it. They've sunken the logo in really smartly. That's very smart. I do like that. And the The buckles themselves, they attach directly onto the skirt, which gives them a bit of flexibility, so it just makes it a bit more practical. One, as a backup mask, so you can stow it away nice and flat, and two, so that when it's actually on your head, it kind of bends and flexes a little bit easier, so that mask strap kind of sits exactly where you want it to. As far as adjustment, very quick and easy. You've got a single button on that, so push on that to lengthen it off whilst you're kind of pulling on the strap, and then pull on the tab to sort of extend it, or sorry, shorten it. And this has got big, kind of chunky sort of ratchets on that. So yeah, you've got a really sort of strong, secure sort of fitting once it's done up to the right tightness. And yeah, these are very reminiscent of the Hollis buckles. You see these on sort of a lot of Hollis masks, but yeah, it works just as well with the XDeep logo on it. Strap itself, very, very simple, nothing fancy in this. It's a little bit, it feels kind of soft because they've got a matte finish to it, so it doesn't feel quite as grabby, so it's less likely to sort of grab onto your hair, but it does have that nice kind of shape, so it's going to cradle the back of your head. So all in all, yeah, a really good effort, a decent mask, and yeah, the one thing that does make this a little bit different, which I will point out now, is that the nose pocket is noticeably larger than most other masks that I've seen. So yeah, a lot of people have complained about trying to find a mask that fits the larger noses and sort of doesn't make contact. So XDeep have put a much larger nose pocket on that. Moving across to the Atomic, so again we have a optical grade glass, and this you can see because it doesn't have that kind of bluish green tint. They do make a much bigger deal about it by calling it ultra clear. So yeah, so that's allowing greater light transmission, so they're kind of level pegging on that. The silicone itself, so granted this is the transparent version, but this is glossy kind of around the frame, or not the frame, but the lens itself. The actual sort of sealing skirt, it's gone to matte, and this is a little bit softer and squidgier compared to the XDeep. You can kind of feel a little difference. So this is going to be a bit better at creating a more effective seal, and it's not going to transfer quite as much pressure to your face. So that's kind of a one-up on the XDeep for me. The buckles are similar kind of concept, but sort of twisted on its side. They're still attached onto the skirt itself. You do have a single button sort of push adjustment, so this has this mechanical hinge on the inside, but what does make this different is that you have a much finer sort of adjustability in these sort of ratchet points. So instead of big chunky ones, we got lots of little ones, so you can make it a bit more sort of personalized fitting. But yeah, then when we move on to the back of the strap, they put a bit more effort in this. They've got sort of dual sort of materials in that, different colors. They've put the brand on the back as well, so they spent a bit more time on the sort of R&D on this one. But as far as a mask strap, pretty much the same. It's still going to grab onto the sort of back of your head with these two sort of separate straps. So as far as kind of the fine points to it, I'm thinking the XDeep is kind of coming out on top, mainly because of the of that slightly softer silicone just around the skirt. It has an ever so slightly wider field of vision, but other than that, they're kind of level pegging. So as a final kind of bringing everything together, the most important thing for quite a lot of people, obviously, is the price. So the Atomic Frameless 2, right now it sits with an RRP of around £90. I think it's just under, whereas the XDeep is about £60. So it's about 2/3 of the price. Is the kind of benefit of the Atomic, the slightly softer skirt and the slightly wider field of vision, worth that sort of extra money? I don't really know. I would be happy diving with the frameless, but you do get the kind of added sort of finishing. It's a little bit more sort of higher quality. Everything's finished a little bit nicer on the Atomic Venom frameless. Not to say that the XDeep is a bad mask, but if money were no object, I'd go down the Atomic route. If you want to be a little bit more frugal, then yeah, I'd probably go down the XDeep route. So for me, I'm saying that the Atomic is a better mask, but because it is that much more expensive, you might sort of be led down the sort of the XDeep route. Okay, so that was comparing the XDeep Frameless mask and the Atomic Aquatics Frameless 2 mask, but which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comments down below. And of course, if there's anything else that you want me to compare, two different torches, two different fins, whatever you want, just sort of put it down in the comments below. And if we do have one in stock, and yeah, we'll kind of mash them together, see which one comes out on top. If it's something that we don't stock, that's still an option. Just go to the manufacturer and just say, hey, can you send the boys and girls at Simply Scuba a sample of this, I don't know, dive computer, whatever, and yeah, if they send it to the address that's listed in the description below, then yeah, we'll mash it up against whichever darn thing you want us to compare it against. Yeah, as ever, let us know what you want to see in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving. In today's video, we're going to be going over, you're a brand new scuba diver, you have nothing, but you've just got your cert card, and you think that you need to buy your own equipment, which is a great idea. It is very important to have your own dive equipment, but what should you prioritize? In today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 bits of equipment for new scuba divers.